You've been there. You spend hours hunched over a desk, highlighting every other sentence, rereading the same chapter until your eyes blur. And then test day arrives, and your mind just goes blank. The whole mental house of cards just collapses. It's so easy in that moment to assume you were born without the smart gene. We tell ourselves that some people have a natural edge, leaving the rest of us to just struggle through. Actually, your brain is doing its job. Your current strategy just lacks the right tools. Scott H. Young wrote a book called Ultralearning to provide the missing manual for how we actually acquire skills. He observed people who master incredibly difficult subjects in record time. They do it through a self-directed, intense approach. They actively decide what they want to learn, and then dive into a period of deep, focused work that pushes their cognitive limits. This chart shows the 9 specific principles these ultralearners use to tackle any subject. We are going to pull out the 5 most crucial ones to build a completely new toolkit. Mastery is like a DIY project. You just need the right tools. Our first tool is Metalearning. When we decide to learn something new, our instinct is to grab a textbook and just start reading on page 1. Ultralearners avoid this by drawing a learning blueprint first. They follow a 10% rule. You take the first 10% of your total expected learning time and spend it entirely on researching how experts tackle that exact skill. You figure out what concepts matter and what you can skip. Once you have your map, you need the second tool, focus. We all know the struggle here. Our phones are practically glued to our hands, and every notification acts as a perfectly designed trap for our attention. The immediate fix involves physically changing your environment. Before you even sit down to work, move the phone to another room, turn off the TV, and close out every unrelated tab on your computer. Then, set a timer for 50 to 60 minutes. Commit to that window of deep, uninterrupted work, because research suggests that's the ideal stretch of time for your brain to reach maximum retention. Doing that heavy lifting up front, building an accurate map and engineering a fortress against distractions, is what makes the actual studying effective. Now we move to the action itself, starting with Tool 3, Directness. You cannot learn to swim by reading a manual about swimming. You have to get in the water. Instead of taking a multiple-choice quiz on a coding language, build a simple video game. Instead of memorizing flashcards for French grammar, go to a French cafe and stumble through ordering a coffee out loud. While you are doing that, you will quickly notice where you are failing. That brings us to Tool 4, Drill. This is where you take a massive, overwhelming skill and break it down into tiny, manageable pieces. You look at those pieces, find the one specific area holding you back the most, and you ruthlessly single out that bottleneck for practice. Think of it like learning to play the guitar. It is fun to comfortably play a whole song from start to finish, but if you keep messing up the chorus, you need to stop playing the fun parts and repetitively drill only those 4 difficult chords until your fingers bleed. Trading comfortable, repetitive practice for that kind of highly targeted discomfort is the absolute fastest way to accelerate your mastery, which leads us to the final, most counterintuitive tool in the framework, Tool 5, Retrieval. Passive reading creates a comforting illusion of competence. The words are right in front of you, so you feel like you know them, but the information just leaks out of your memory. Forced recall shatters that illusion. Retrieval means closing the book. It means you sit there, squeeze your eyes shut, and physically struggle to pull a fact from your own mind without looking it up. That intense frustration signals your brain building new pathways, physically locking that memory into place through the sheer effort of recall. Embracing the pain of testing yourself early and often prevents the much worse pain of failing when the real test arrives. Combining these 5 tools gives you the power to manage your own brain's development, directing exactly how and when information sticks. To see what the system is truly capable of, look at the author himself. Scott H. Young used these exact principles to pass the final exams for the entire MIT computer science program. He didn't enroll in the university. He bypassed formal classes entirely, used only free materials online, and completed the 4-year curriculum in just 12 months. Now, you don't need to tackle MIT or learn 4 new languages in a year to benefit from this toolkit. You just have to set aside the belief that you aren't smart enough to pursue that one hobby or career pivot you've been putting off. Pick one small skill you want to learn this weekend. Apply just one of these tools to your process, and let me know what your goal is down in the comments.